My son is a wonderful young man. He took a meeting with a Russian lawyer, not a government lawyer, but a Russian lawyer. I see that she was in the halls of Congress also. Somebody said that her visa or her passport to come into the country was approved by Attorney General Lynch. Zero happened from the meeting. And honestly, I think the press made a very big deal over something that really a lot of people would do. I've had many people call up, oh, gee, we have information on this factor or this person or, frankly, Hillary. That's very standard in politics. Politics is not the nicest business in the world.
President Trump in France being asked a question at the press conference there about Donald Trump Jr.'s meeting with this Russian lawyer, Natalia Veselnitskaya. This as we're getting more information about her. The Hill reports, and we've confirmed, the Russian lawyer who penetrated Donald Trump's inner circle was initially cleared into the United States by the Justice Department under extraordinary circumstances before she embarked on a lobbying campaign last year. This revelation means it was the Obama Justice Department that enabled the newest and most intriguing figure in the Russia-Trump investigation to enter the country without a visa. And we're learning more about her connections as time goes on. Let's bring in our panel. Michael Crowley, Senior Foreign Affairs Correspondent for Politico, Editor-in-Chief of Life's Zet, Laura Ingraham, and syndicated columnist Charles Krauthammer. Charles.
Well, I'm not impressed by the story about the lawyer. I think it's a red herring the size of a whale. She was a pawn. It doesn't change the central fact in the scandal. The scandal is that the email received from an intermediary by Donald Trump Jr. said that a Russian government lawyer, the president is wrong, he was not a lawyer, a Russian government lawyer, would be coming with dirt on Hillary, and that the Kremlin was supporting his campaign, and that the Crown prosecutor, that's a misnomer, the state prosecutor in the Kremlin had a trove of documents that they would offer. That's the story. I don't think it's illegal. I don't think anybody is claiming that it's illegal, but it does. The one thing it does, it totally undermines a 6-month story from the White House, to which I was sympathetic, that there wasn't any collusion. This was a bungled collusion. This was amateurish collusion. This was Keystone Cops collusion, but it doesn't change the fact that it was attempted collusion, and it undoes the White House story completely.
Laura.
I don't think it undoes the White House story completely unless you think that Donald Trump himself knew about this meeting, knew about the email. I know there's a lot of speculation on other cable networks that's obsessed with the story 24/7, that in fact there are all sorts of logical leaps to make from the email that Donald Trump Jr. received to the short meeting to Donald Trump's statements about emails and so forth. But I don't think we have those facts yet. I'll be interested to know those facts. But I don't think anyone has really clean hands here. We know for a fact, as Politico has reported, that Alexandra Chalupa, who is a former White House staffer and DNC official, worked with the Ukrainian sources to get dirt on Donald Trump, shared that information, according to Politico, and this is all, I get a lot of this dumped by WikiLeaks, shared this information with a willing Clinton campaign. Everyone seems to be willing to benefit from dirt being spread around or attempted to be spread around or trafficked as dirt, even though it wasn't, by unsavory sources. I don't think it looks good to take a meeting with someone who says they're working on behalf of the Russian government. I agree with Alan Dershowitz. It is not treason. It is not illegal. But it does demonstrate how difficult and precarious it is to get involved in the political world when your experience really is limited to New York real estate. It's a different game, and it's a different deal.
Listening to Senator Warner, they don't have a lot of answers in this, at least not ones they're going to talk about.
No, that's right, and it's frustrating for everyone involved because the nature of this investigation means that there's not that much they can say publicly. These leaks come out and we get little pieces of the puzzle without knowing what the big picture is. But, you know, I do think that Charles put his finger on the central point here, which Donald Trump did not address, which is, you know, what was the reaction to an email that says there is a Russian government campaign plan to help your campaign, and the meeting might have gone nowhere. This lady might not have been an effective emissary if she was one, but the question is, what was the response? And I think the best defense, I suppose, would be the one that Laura hinted at, which is that these people were novices businesses in this arena. They were real estate professionals. The problem is that falls down when you get to Paul Manafort being in the room. And to the degree that Paul Manafort had read through the email and had seen that language. Now, I understand he says he didn't.
The top part of the email, of course.
Okay, so maybe. But it also just speaks to the fact that the Trump campaign was not a highly professionalized one, and you're seeing it manifesting even now that they've come into government, slow to staff up the government, a lot of confusion, no end to problems to the fact that this was not a professional campaign.
Charles, Newt Gingrich, defending the president, says that the media and Democrats are essentially rushing past a bank robbery to get Trump administration officials for jaywalking. In other words, all of the stuff with Hillary Clinton and all of the hammering the phone and destroying the emails and whitewashing the server and the Clinton the Clinton Foundation and all of their interactions. He says they're driving by a bank robbery trying to get somebody for jaywalking.
Well, there's one salient fact here. Hillary is a private citizen. She lost the election. All of this could be true if there are people who want to go after her to put her in jail, lock her up. Okay, I have no objection whatsoever. The fact is that the president is Mr. Trump, and this is an accusation that's been made against him. His own nominee for the FBI has said that what Donald Trump Jr. did, what the campaign did, essentially the top three officials in the campaign, is something that was wrong and that they should instead have called the authorities. That's the salient fact. You can have all of this other stuff.
But beyond apologizing, what are you going to get? Where is the underlying crime that they're going after here?
I said at the beginning, I don't think there's a crime of collusion. But I think what you do have is 6 months of deception from the White House, either advertent or inadvertent, perhaps. If nobody knew about this meeting, I'm assuming the president did not know about the meeting. But they had said for 6 months they had no meetings, they had no interaction. They had nothing. Here in black and white is an admission of, we want to help your campaign, we have stuff on Hillary. The state prosecutor in the Kremlin has stuff, and the response is, I love it. That contradicts the whole line of defense that the Trump campaign... Whether
they got the stuff or didn't get the stuff.
Whether it's a crime or not is a totally different issue. I'm willing to concede it's not a criminal act, but it's certainly an unethical act.
I want to turn really quickly to his reception in France, the interaction with the French president, both of them glowing about each other, about their countries, about their relationships. Kind of a different take. Yeah, it was something. I think it's good for him to stay on the road, especially right now as this Russia story continues to bubble up. We keep hearing that the Europeans don't like him, he's really unpopular, et cetera, et cetera. Well, you know, a lot of our friends in the media were saying a lot of similar things about President Reagan in the 1980s. I'm not saying Donald Trump is President Reagan, but I am saying, of course, that American presidents have often, when they stand for American interests first, they have often gotten rocky receptions in Europe. That having been said, I think Donald Trump has actually had some great interactions with foreign leaders, again, which is swept under the rug by a media obsessed with, like, Pavlovian obsession with this story about Russia, to the exclusion of all else. Macron stood with Vladimir Putin and had a joint press conference a few weeks back when Putin visited. Of course, Angela Merkel is very tight with Putin because of the Nord Stream pipeline and the gas that they need in Europe. And I think it was a good day for President Trump. We'll see what comes of it. He even hinted that there's something could happen with respect to the Paris Accord, the climate change deal. We'll see what happens. Next up.